I'm so excited to be talking to you because you've done so many amazing things, and I'd love to really just start with Melfit. What is your business? Who do you serve? Where do you operate out of? All the things.
Okay, so what is our business? Melfit is a lifestyle brand, and there's a couple components to our business, and I always like to describe this to people. We have our own app, which my digital media assistant Josh is the creator of, and the app is $29.99 a month. And what you get with that, you get our workouts and our cooking videos. Where we really shine are our nutrition plans. So if you want to work with us on a nutrition plan, essentially you have to be on the app, which is your textbook. And I have over 20 years of experience. I had a brick and mortar. So this is kind of how I morphed my 20 years of experience online. And what was the other question you asked me? Where do you
where do you operate out of?
Okay, so we operate out of Josh's office where we're filming right now. My digital media assistant also has another business called Triple M Lawn Care. This is his office morphed into partial Melfit headquarters, and then we actually operate out of my home. I live on the Spokane River, so when we can take advantage of good weather, we film our workout videos on my dock. And if we have anything we can do, we have an outdoor bar area, so we'll film there. And then, of course, lots of cooking videos in our kitchen. So, and what was the last question? I can't believe you remember all these. This is great.
Who do you serve?
Who do we serve? We serve anybody with a pulse in the local area and worldwide. So I say this all the time. There's not one person on God's green earth that can't benefit from working with us. We're an anti-inflammatory meal plan. We are gluten-free, dairy-free, and no processed sugar. So we serve people all over the world.
So what really inspired you to start this business?
Melfit? Mm-hmm. So I had a brick and mortar, and I loved it. I was very blessed, and when I first opened, I had a friend of mine who was my personal trainer. I asked him, what do you think I should build up to as far as numbers? And he said, well, if you can build up to 24 clients in 6 months to a year, you're doing well. I opened up my first week with that many clients by myself.
Wow.
And I was working for 5:30 in the morning, which I've got up at 4:30 in the morning my whole life. I've been 80 hours a week for 30 years. And I did that for a long time, and then I started hiring my clients who would have success stories with me. Like I hired a girl that lost 110 pounds because they knew, what my kind of morals and values were. So I had 6 employees working under me. So I thought that I would have a little bit of time to travel, but my clients were so spoiled. My personal clients that I trained, which was 21, they were so used to me that when I would travel, they would wait for me, which means I'm making no money, because the whole idea of employees is that they can continue what you're doing and the money will still flow. And that was a good thing. I looked at that as a compliment, but that's not what I was going for. I wasn't going for never being able to take longer trips. My husband owns a concrete business, and he's off in the winter, and I love traveling. So that was a problem. And also, I think that I had been always, I had everybody's best interest at heart for so long that I was ready to be selfish. And so I thought it was selfish, but it really isn't. You should put your mask on before helping others. And I finally decided that I was going to put my foot down, and I asked one of my employees to buy my business, and she did. And it was really hard for me. I didn't take it lightly. I cried forever, and I cried at the thought of telling my clients I was selling, because we shared so much. It's a really intimate experience. And I cried because I felt like they would be disappointed in me. But when I told them, they were shocked, but they understood. and they were all really good people, so they wanted the best for me. So my husband wanted me to retire. I'm an entrepreneur. We're real estate investors. We have our own rental properties, our own property management company. And for about 30 days, I tried retired life, and I couldn't go from, that busy up at 4:30 and serving people all day. Like, I couldn't go from 10 to 0. So while I was running, I started thinking, wow, I feel like I still have value to give the world, and I felt like I was just like focused and not finished yet. And I thought to myself, what could you, like, I was listing all the pros and cons about things I've done through the years, and what could I do differently to make another business fit all of the things that it wasn't for me. And a lot of things that I did in the past, it wasn't truly my passion, but we all have to pay our bills. It was just a stepping stone to get to where I'm at now, and I feel like I'm so blessed, because if I didn't go through all that, I wouldn't have got here. So I don't look back on it as a bad thing in any way. So I came up with Melfit, and what really was enticing to me about this business is being online and being able to work anywhere in the world with a laptop and a phone, and not being up at 4:30 serving people and being on the minute you open your window, either selling clothes or selling food or selling coffee or personal training and all the things I've done. But so I had the idea, but my biggest struggle was I knew I couldn't run the business by myself, because I needed someone to do my filming and editing and videography and all of that stuff. So that's where my digital media assistant, Josh, comes in. And we met. Should I tell her the story, Josh?
Go ahead.
So I messaged him on Facebook, and he never messaged me back. And then I've been friends with his mom and their family for years. He used to come to my coffee stand in high school, and I reached out to his mom and I said, why isn't Josh messaging me back? And to his mom, and she said, did she nudge you a little bit? So we met in a coffee shop, and he had he had the schooling and everything, but he was really struggling with getting a job in his field, and he was actually delivering food when I met him. And he was very unhappy, right, Josh? Yeah. Didn't I interview you and talk about this already? So I don't think I'm not sharing anything I shouldn't. But so we came together, and I think once Josh realized what I needed, we both quickly sat down and just kind of fell into our roles. Like, I didn't really have this huge plan of, you're going to do all the social media, I'm going to do this. We literally laid out our talents on the table, and we just, right, Josh? We kind of divvied up. Oh, you're good at that, you do that. Oh, you're good at that. So we really learned where our strengths and weaknesses were, and we kind of accept our weaknesses, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally okay that I'm not good at this, but thankful. So we're a really good team. We've just become really good friends. We work together well. And most importantly, we are both 100% passionate about Melfit. And for someone who has opened up a new business every 4 years since they were 27, it's a relief for me to finally earn something that I don't have to constantly look for something else. So we're truly passionate about it. So it's really nice knowing that a lot of people that work with me, it's been 3 years. So I have the 4-year itch for sure. And they're all nervous. And I have reassured them that I worked so hard to try to get to this point where I don't have to constantly, look for something else, because what I'm doing is just paying my bills, and I'm not truly passionate about it. So that's why I started it, and it's been great. I love everything about it. It was a little weird for me at first, because I was so used to that, flying out of bed, no breakfast, just running and gunning, burning the candle at both ends. So I've got a good routine, and for the first time in my life, I feel like I can unselfishly take care of myself and my Malfa army. So
That's amazing. Do you still work 80 hours a week? Probably not,
No.
right?
But we work a lot, right, Josh? We do.
You said that. You said I work 80 hours a week for 30 years. I'm like, oh my goodness, how? So what mistakes would you say that you made when you were just getting started? Because obviously this was a new realm for you.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any like major mistakes that you made as far as like marketing or app development, all of these things that you were trying to tackle?
Oh, okay. For Melfit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would have to say that not really a mistake, but something that we didn't do at first would be that we started out with just a website. And Josh and I always say, really, we've only been in business for 2 years, right, Josh? Because the first year was like the, development year. And we figured out that most people, when you're looking on your phone and things are loading, like you're so impatient, people want things yesterday. And we weren't really getting the stamina we needed with the app. Also, we didn't have our meal plans. So I told Josh that I think we should look into getting our own app. And I thought that people would be able to just get on the app and work out and cook recipes and have success. But what people really need is accountability and coaching and a good plan. So looking back on it, I think in the beginning, we truly thought that we were just going to be successful with just a website, right, Josh? Then we thought we were going to be super successful with just an app. So we have put in so many hours and blood, sweat, and tears to get to where we're at. We've done so much work, and I don't know. I guess I don't really look at it as a mistake. I mean, we just learned,
Right.
we learned to
lessons learned.
adapt and listen to what people wanted. Oh, it's a real pain to log on and off your website. Like, we're all ears on everything. Even to this day, we're still trying to improve things and make ourselves better. But what's really nice is, after putting all that in, we're really building that momentum with our app and our magazine and everything. So, but we really didn't know that it was going to be a mistake because neither one of us have ever done this before. So,
So, talk to me a little bit about passive income, because I think obviously you're making money from your app. Is that the primary way that you're making money from your business? Is through the app?
So we essentially, how do you make $1 million a year? I told you that, right?
Yeah.
So you get 3,000 people to subscribe to your app at $29.99 a month, or you sell something for $29.99 a month. So that is essentially how Melfit was created, because my friend Kibby, who owns Artisan Portrait Studio in Post Falls, he asked me that question, and of course everybody's all ears when you hear that. And I thought, well, I have something I can sell. I've got a lot of things I could sell for $29.99 a month. So first of all, we thought that was going to be our primary income, right, Josh? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Then we developed the meal plans. So we have passive income coming in from the app. We have passive income coming in from our meal plans. And I think where I really shine, if you're a business owner or new to business or just starting, the best thing you can do for your business is think of what I'm saying. There's no ceiling on Melfit. And when I say there's no ceiling on Melfit, I mean there's no ceiling on me coaching you and helping you and your health and me being your life coach. Also, there's no ceiling on your income. You just need to be a little bit more creative, where we also have passive income from our maintenance plans. So you don't finish a plan and then just stop working with us. You go into maintenance. So there's passive income from that. So our maintenance clients pay $99 a month. They get a new food menu. They get a check-in. They get accountability with me. So there's no ceiling on Melfit for them, and there's also no ceiling on, the amount of income that you can bring in if you're creative. And I think for me in the past, that was my biggest thing, is I would always sign up for some kind of fitness thing, and there was an end to it.
Mm-hmm.
Had there been something else to purchase from them, I would have purchased it, but that's all there was, which means as soon as it was over, I gained my weight back. And that's kind of why I thought, you know what, I really want to develop something that is long term, so people don't constantly have to search for, a weight loss solution or meal plans. So
Was developing the app difficult, or was that a fairly simple
that'd be a good question for
process?
Josh. Is your mic on?
Yeah. That was a very in-depth process.
Okay. So you hired Josh to develop the app.
I didn't know that I was going to hire Josh to develop the app, but we actually worked with somebody else, and Josh should have been, or probably was, a private investigator in a former life, and he is the best spy in, as far as looking on the back end of things and researching. And he came down one day, and I was almost going to spend how much, Josh?
I think it was around 25.
I thought it was $5,000.
That was the down payment.
And then how much a month? $2,500.
Yep.
And Josh came walking down, and he's like, you know what? The person said they were authentically doing everything, but they weren't authentically doing everything. They were like, what do you call it? Plug and play, Josh?
It was a template.
Template.
Oh, so it wasn't custom. Okay.
I could see that. So anyways, we got our money back, and Josh decided that he wanted to tackle this. And I would have to say, Josh can probably attest to this, we have done, well, I'm going to say I for me, and then you can answer, Josh. I have done some of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life this last 3 years. Things that were so hard, it gave me a gut ache. Things that were so hard, I was sick over it. Things that were so hard that I couldn't get started, right, Josh?
Yes.
So would you say the same thing, Josh? Is this some of the hardest things you've ever done in your life, is with Melfit?
Absolutely.
We've both, and I think that's what keeps us going, Paisley, is that we are constantly challenging ourselves, website, app, magazine publishers, billboard, there's no ceiling on our growth. We don't become stagnant. We also get bored really easy. So we're constantly just trying to say, what can we do? How can we grow? So also the first and foremost, everything we do is for our Melfit army, so that they can have the resources, so they can have the podcast, so they can, have more. And I think that with that, the more that you give people, the more loyalty and longevity you have. It's a lot easier to have somebody continue with you than to constantly to go find new business.
Right.
So I think that if you get stagnant in business and you're losing business and not gaining business, you might want to listen up to what I just said. Maybe you need to roll up your sleeves and see what else can I give, my people for retention. So
I love that. And you also serve a national audience, right? What advice would you give to women out there who want to start an online business and they want to tap in to a national audience? Maybe they don't necessarily have a ton of capital to work with. It might be mostly organic efforts. What advice would you give them as far as getting started?
Well, we, right off the bat, unbeknownst to us, we started on Facebook and Instagram with sponsored ads, and I'm sure that most of the people that you work probably think that that's their only resource, correct? Or do they use it a lot?
It's definitely really common to start with social media.
So right off the bat, we were shut down. If you want to know if we get results, you want to look at a before and after picture of our clients, right? We've worked with thousands of people. So that's what we were going to sponsor on our ads. Well, of course, with all of the rules of Instagram, we were flagged, and we have never, ever been able to do a sponsored ad. So we've never spent money with Facebook and Instagram on sponsored ads. And I think it's crazy that you can practically be naked on your front page, but you can't post a before and after of a woman in a swimsuit. And then some of our posts, people weren't even in a swimsuit, right, Josh?
Correct.
And they flagged us. So I guess my advice would be to find other resources to, you know, if you're, a lot of people bank on followers, you know, and I think that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that think, oh, just because she has a lot of followers, she's financially successful. It's, any entrepreneur will tell you, it's not how many followers you have, it's how much money you have in your bank account. So I think that it just depends on where they're sitting right now. If they're really sitting with Facebook and Instagram, I would say create multiple resources like we did to get the word out there. Even for us, we've done a lot of things locally, but if someone local likes you, they're going to tell their friend in Wisconsin. You know, I've gotten a lot of people from a friend of a friend. So I think that I didn't want to really build our house on leased land. I feel like you could wake up one day and Facebook and Instagram isn't there. That is why we created Melfit Healthy Times. That's why we have our podcast. That's why we have our YouTube. So also, my advice to people would be, like, don't give up just because, you know, it is disheartening too if you're, I mean, Josh and I will tell you, we made no money for a long time, right, Josh?
Yeah.
So we use Shopify for our sale, and I mean, now we hear that cash register, you know, when we were sitting here right before you came, we heard it, and there were years where we just weren't getting any sales. So I think that time and patience, and in order to really flow in a business, I would say give it a good 3 years. I know that a lot of people don't have the resources to, you know, like people will say, oh, should I quit my day job? Like, I understand that people have bills to pay, but how bad do you want it? I worked 5:30 in the morning, one business, went and worked out and worked at another business. So you get what you give. If it takes you working your day job and then being at your side hustle another 6 hours, you got to do it. I didn't get here because I got up at 5 o'clock and didn't, you know, so I think I told you this on our interview. Like, I remember not even watching TV for 20 years. I didn't know what Friends was, or all these Friends parties people are having. You can ask my husband. I didn't even know how to. I'm still kind of this way. I didn't even know how to turn the TV on. I still only really know how to use the remote with the Netflix, because that's what I like. So I think that if people don't have the resources or they can't borrow, I started my coffee stand on $30,000 of borrowed money on credit cards. And as long as you have faith in yourself and you believe in yourself, you're gonna make that money back. We paid off our loan in 12 months, but if you don't have any resources at all, my advice is just keep on hustling, and eventually, you know, just work, and eventually you're gonna catch that fish. And what's really helped me, and I don't know if everybody can say this, is you just gotta have one person to believe in you, and that's what I tell my clients with health and fitness. I believe in you. If you have no one, I believe in you. Josh believed in Melfit. So he's been through poor, right? He's been through. And Josh, did you ever think about, this is never going to go? Huh?
No, let's talk about that for a second, though, because I really love that you touched on faith and belief. So now I'm going to ask you, have you ever doubted yourself, like, ever? And then if you do have self-doubt that comes up, how do you deal with it and turn it around?
Sometimes I do wake up with imposter syndrome, you know. When we had the dry spells that we had that were really dry, like dusty dry, get the dust off your teeth dry, I always remember my successes. And, you know, and that really brings me back. Yeah, you aren't doing this yet, but what about all of your other successes, you know? And I guess in a nutshell, that would be it. Just remember what you have done and remember your successes. So,
yeah. And I think also, too, having had that experience of building multiple businesses, you already have that awareness that is really new to a lot of new business owners. And that is, it takes time to build a successful business. And I think for a lot of people, it's really hard to have that patience. Like you were saying, it took years for you guys to start making good money. Maybe some people are so new to business, or they don't really have a community of women or support to really let them know that they might not necessarily be doing anything wrong. It's just that it does take time, you know? Like, would you say that throughout the businesses that you've built, has that always been the case for you, and that it takes like a year or so to really get the momentum going?
yes, and I think that when I first started, somebody told me that. And the one thing I always tell people, closed mouths don't get fed, literally. And if you don't ask questions, I mean, your best gift is your mouth, you know. And believe me, a lot of entrepreneurs will help you for free. I've helped a lot of people for free if somebody's passionate enough about it. I met somebody last week for like an hour and a half. I did not have the time for it, but I knew that this person was on fire, and I thought, you know what, I don't ever forget where I came from. I'll never forget the people who helped me. And even somebody say, you know what, just give it 3 years. Just give it 3 years. So, but we didn't even buy ourselves a pair of socks or underwear for the first 12 months. I mean, we just put our head down and worked. And I would love to, I wish we had the I guess, money to start off with employees right away. But I think that having no choice, you know, you do just do it. But I would have to say my advice for anybody new is that, yeah, it definitely is going to take time, but don't ever stop believing in yourself. Don't doubt yourself. If you listen to like Andy Frisella, who he has one of the largest supplement companies in the world, First Form, he'll tell you, I mean, he went, do you listen to him, Josh?
Yes.
I feel like he said the first 8 or 10 years he was making $800 a month.
Wow.
So mind you, we were making no money. I'm paying Josh. I'm paying for our app. We're paying for Shopify. We're paying for all of the things we're doing. But I think that although it about makes you want to vomit, at the end of the day, you have to just really ask yourself, do you really believe that Melfit will be successful? And my answer was always yes. Josh may never have told me, but he kept showing up every day and somehow I paid him. So yeah, so I think that the belief in yourself should outweigh everything else, even if it means not making any money and not having a paycheck. And just know you're not always going to have to work 80 hours a week to get to your, you know, dream job. So
this has been so amazing, Melissa. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to work with you, connect with you, where's the best place for them to find you online?
probably just melfitcoaching.com, our website. And I was going to say that your question about, you know, how people can, you know, get their name out there and become worldwide. Wouldn't you agree, Josh, that a good website is really crucial?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And then anybody can download our app for free for 7 days. And yeah, I think that's about it. Well, they can go to my Facebook and Instagram. So Yeah, I love to help anybody starting out in business, and I know it's really scary. Unfortunately, the money is what scares people the most, and you got to just take a little bit of a risk. A lot of my businesses, I remember vomiting, writing checks, and no money coming in, nothing open yet, and having to shell out a check for $30,000. About makes you want to vomit. But I always thought to myself, somebody told me this a long time ago, you can't make money if you don't spend money. And I was just like, and you get what you give. But I think in the forefront of anybody's business, if they can, we kind of use this. I've used this with all my businesses. It was never about the money first. It's always been about the people. And I think that if you always stand by that number one, the number two will come, which is the money. I always say, if you make it about the people, the money will flow freely. If you make it about the money, they'll smell a rat. And I think that people see that we're genuinely, and first and foremost, yes, we have to pay our bills, we have to pay things, but first and foremost, we both did this because we were passionate about helping people. And I think that's the most important thing. People that get hung up on the money, they're going to drown. They might as well just wrap it up on day one. So.
Amazing advice. Thank you so much,
Your
Melissa.
time's good.
Thank you. It was so awesome talking to you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to hear how this turns out and look into your community a little bit as well. So.
Yeah, it's developing. It's growing.